Welcome to Star Kittens Media, where we discuss 13 sign astrology. Today we will talk about the new moon in Aries. There's lots to talk about, so let's jump in. Hey there, Truth Seeker. I am Sana, coming to you from Nelson, and joining me is David.
Hello. Hi there.
Are you excited about this full-on new moon in Aries?
I am. Lots to talk about.
There is. So the new moon occurs on May the 8th here in New Zealand, or for our followers in the United States, it's the 7th of May, and we have a very full conjunction happening in Aries. Is that where you would like to start?
It is. So let's just jump straight in, given that it's Aries. So the energy, the overall energy is about taking inspired action, being courageous and bold and stepping forward with what I would call vim and vigor. This is about a positive turn, looking up and moving forward and channeling the Aries spirit animal, which of course is the ram, and that represents resilience, power and progress. It's a busy new moon, as you just said, and it signals really a 12-month solar cycle that takes us through to May 2025. Of course, when the sun enters Aries, it's the beginning of a solar cycle. So this is a 12-month process. It's a good time to kick off any projects or plans, get them underway. And of course, we will look at the different pieces of this, but it's as you mentioned, a 5-way conjunction. 5 planetary bodies are involved here, which is rare to say the least. But of course, the sun and the moon are conjunct, but there's also Venus, Uranus, and Jupiter. And I'd like to touch at the very end on the conjunction of Mercury and Chiron in Pisces.
I always enjoy talking about Chiron. So for me, Venus, it's really, the love planet, and I very much like that she is conjunct to this new moon at this time. So it's a benevolent energies. What else do you see Venus carrying?
Yeah, Venus, when paired with the moon, really what we're talking about is positive emotions and a sense of connection. This is about a time of fostering and cultivating meaningful relationships. It's about enjoying the company of loved ones, cherishing and acknowledging one another as we're all in this journey together. That is, that we are all spirit beings having a human experience. The sun, of course, when we say new moon, it does involve both the sun and the moon together. So the sun energy here in a conjunction with Venus is about confident self-expression, and about projecting a strong self-esteem, which is really all about knowing that you are capable, having faith in yourself and backing your abilities, knowing your worth. These are really important qualities as we embark on a new pathway or journey over the next 12 months. And it's about the sun energy here is about reflecting on our best skills, those attributes and characteristics that provide us with uplifting feelings, so that we can contribute to the collective.
Yeah, and I really notice that I feel a lot better about myself as well when I'm able to connect with people and really have the deeper conversations, just rather than just that superficial, frivolous, knowing that there are others who think very similarly, coming together and then being able to uplift, I think will just move all of us forward. So having Venus really, I guess, carrying that energy is a very good energy. Uranus, also part of the conjunction, Uranus, signified by, we've spoken about this in the past because it's such a beautiful tarot card, the Tower, the lightning strike of the Tower. But because of Venus, it's not quite as abrupt in a negative sense. Is that how you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think that that Tower card, for those who pursue tarot, or if you look it up, it is one of the most evocative images in the entire tarot deck, certainly in the Rider-Waite deck, which a lot of people use. And that image bespeaks awakening and enlightenment. It talks about sudden change and shocking events that ultimately lead to either a breakdown or a breakthrough. So, with the moon conjunction of Uranus, we're talking about strong emotional reactions. And that could be anything from a sense of, I've finally had enough, that leads to change, reflecting the Aries energy, or something like, this is the moment I've been waiting for. So, like a cat waiting, stalking a bird, perhaps not a great analogy, but you know what I mean, is that this is the moment. It's the time to leap, and that's that Uranus kind of push. With the sun here, the key insight is about taking stock and turning defense into offense, if you like, sports analogies, or put another way, about turning adversity into action, making the most of your circumstances as a launch pad to something more or something different or something better. And because of the presence of Venus here, we favor the more positive aspects of the Uranus, that is liberation and insight, or eureka moments, like finally getting that Sudoku, or the final puzzle piece for a big jigsaw you've been doing, or just joining the dots and seeing things anew. That's that Uranian kind of boom. Coming through, that really sudden, something happens quite quickly. Uranian energy, of course, as per the Tower card, can be really disruptive. And when paired with the Aries energy, this is about overcoming obstacles, removing roadblocks, and being highly creative in our responses to whatever difficulties may be present in our lives. The 16 vibration of the Tower, and thus Uranus, can lead to profound insight, even in the face of tragedy or loss or destruction. And this is a time when we become philosophical and reflective rather than melancholic or moody or morose. There's plenty of time to wallow under different astrological configurations, but this isn't one of them. So it's time to chin up and get going.
What a good time to have that at a new moon, of course. So another planet that we can sometimes see with the naked eye is Jupiter, and it's one of the biggest ones that we have near us. So the size of the planet also very much influences what the planet does in the astrology. So Jupiter is known to amplify. That's correct.
Absolutely. Take everything we've just talked about and multiply it. Jupiter here in Aries, when paired with Sun, Moon, and Uranus, is about amplification. It's about going beyond any limitations, be they mental or emotional or physical or spiritual. Aries influence here with Jupiter is about, it's kind of like, what would be an analogy? Adding fuel to the fire. Accelerating, words that come to mind are momentum and rapid progress. Literally, this is bull out of a gate energy, or horses bolting out of the stalls with freedom. Again, the presence of Venus here tends to bring the more positive aspects forward, which means seeing the upside. So this is a mindset thing, that's seeing the upside of any situation or circumstance you may be in order to take advantage of it.
Sounds very like a very exciting time. So just to recap, the 5 planetary bodies are Venus, the Sun, Moon, conjunct, and then we also have, of course, Uranus and Jupiter. So those are the 5 energies that are really close together. But as you mentioned in the intro, you also, I would like to talk about Mercury conjunct with Chiron in Pisces.
Yeah. Look, we spent a fair bit of time talking about this in our last blog a couple of weeks ago. And it's really, I think it's a nice time to just touch on it again. We talked at length about Chiron as the archetype of our deepest trauma. That is that gnawing, sort of debilitating sense that we've been cut off from source and alienated from our creator. And that's quite pervasive in both individuals and collective. The world itself, especially I think in the West, is going through such enormous change that people feel like, we've been cut adrift in the multiverse, and are we going through something as a humanity that other species and other planetary bodies haven't been through? But that's not the case. But certainly that trauma is coming to the surface, that being cut off from source. And Chiron is, this is where we have some people and who haven't resolved this. They have this sense of being alone in the world. It's a void that many humans seek to fill, that void with materialism, power, status, fame, drugs, alcohol, self-indulgence, travel. Whenever people practice escapism and pursue hedonic pleasures to compensate for that feeling of profound disconnection and a lack of meaning in their lives, this is Chiron energy coming through. For those of biblical persuasion, Chiron is captured in the moment when Christ said, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" Chiron is therefore existential, and it has to do with our pathway back to reunion with the One, when we realize there is no separation, there is no polarity. That's just an illusion. There's just one consciousness that has many aspects. And like a rainbow, a spectrum of experiences, yet one projector, if you like, one source of light, and we are all just an aspect of that. It's Chiron, the journey back and resolving and reconciling the Chiron wound of separation, is coming to that place of realizing that actually we're not separate from source, we're part of source. The Chiron paired with Mercury therefore brings us to think about such deep issues, to ponder, to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of life? And not just to brush this notion off, but to explore it, to dig into it, to diagnose it as a surgeon would, so that you can get to the bottom of your angst. And in doing so, transmuting those negative energies in our lives through conscious awareness and reflection, we can transform limitations via the process of reframing. So telling the story another way, whatever that experience is, and then we can transcend outdated beliefs through action. Mercury conjunct Chiron and Pisces functions therefore on the metaphysical planes of existence, the etheric and auric realms. This is when we remember who we are, spirit beings having a human experience. When we deal with these levels of our reality, we can truly experience the massive benefits of this new moon pushing us forward, and helping us to evolve and accelerate our evolutionary process at pace.
Yeah, so with the moon, sun being in Aries, Aries is that action. And so by taking that action of self-reflection, as scary as it is, I think once you go down that path, you're like, why did I start? But you can never go back. You can't go back to the not knowing that there is more to life than we see in the 3D world, in my opinion. And I myself practice just doing one thing every day. And you just have to take that small step. And if you do miss a day because you're unwell or you've got little ones that you have to look after, to not go, oh, why did I? Just have that grace to self-forgive and just keep moving forward, taking inspired action, as I'm often told by important people in my life. So what are your takeaway messages for this new moon?
So the key thing is the Aries energy, just in and of itself, is all about action. Where some of those emotional energies like Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces are about going inward and reflecting. This is outward looking. This is pushing forward. So that's one of the keys. But when we combine the energies of Uranus, of insight, of Venus, which is that benevolent energy, is the more positive. Sometimes we can talk about Uranus as, leading to or being a portend or a signal of shocking events that really upset the apple cart in our lives. I've read all sorts of images reflections about Uranus being, the moment when, especially if it's, say, drawn in a tarot card or in a divination process, this can be when somebody says, oh my goodness, I'm about to lose my job, or I'm going to go through a breakup, or my partner's been cheating on me, or what. It can be very dramatic, and that's often what people focus on. But the presence of Venus here is more on the other side, and we've talked about this is about taking inspired action. So and having a cup half full mindset, and thinking no matter what is going on, no matter what disruption may be brought to the surface, and whether it's emotional or mental or physical or spiritual, take that as a positive sign that this is the end of whatever you've been going through, and as one door closes, another door opens. So I think that's the key. And of course, we touched on the presence of Jupiter. So everything is magnified and amplified. And I keep, the kind of the vision I have in my mind is you're sitting around a campfire and somebody pours, lighter fluid, and that whole thing just blows up. Well, that's a great metaphor. And, if this is done in a planned way, so we can move forward with some planning. We talked about that, in fact, in the last blog, with the Icarus energy. And these two, lunations, the full moon and the new moon, are linked. Of course, so many of these things are, and we talked about Icarus as taking, calculated risks, and that was almost like preparation for this moment. So the wrap up is that when the sun moves into Aries, which was around 19 days ago, that was the beginning of a 12-month process of the sun going around all 13 constellations. So we are absolutely, if you are a person who's been waiting to kick something off, to get something going, a project, a plan, now is the time. And the energies are very much behind us. They're tailwinds, and it's time to put the foot on the accelerator and go.
I was told a beautiful quote this morning, and it is, how can I do today what I am here to do with what I've already been given, rather than going, oh, I need to have $10,000 to set this up or start this, or I need this or whatever. We all have certain gifts in us to already reach out to the people that we need to reach out to. So what can you do today? And I think this new moon energy, it is the moment to take that step forward. So thank you for sharing your insights. If you have enjoyed this, please click the like button, share it with your friends and family. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, using our name, Star Kittens Media. We also do 2-hour natal readings, which you can book using the links below. And we can also provide you with a natal chart with a short description of what your sun, moon, and rising sign mean for you. So thank you for taking the time to listen to us, and let us know what your takeaway message was. Thank you so much.